From beautiful Toronto, it's time for Braves baseball, and a huge crowd is gathering here at the Rogers Center. It's Jose Bautista bobblehead day. And the Braves and Jays have played a very entertaining series so far. Atlanta tries to win it outright before we head to New York and get back to National League play on Tuesday night. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe back with you. A wild series. Toronto hit 5 homers in Game 1 and lost. They hit into 5 double plays and won yesterday. What can we expect today with 2 flamethrowers getting after it? Shelby Miller gets the ball for the Braves.
You wouldn't expect as many runs to be scored, that's for sure, based on what we know of the young kid Norris. But Shelby Miller's off to a great start in a Braves uniform, and last year his only appearance against Toronto, that was one of his career best. He threw a 3-hit complete game shutout at him with the roof open here at the Rogers Center. So he knows this lineup, he knows how tough they can be, and he's been watching for 2 days, so he knows how they're swinging the bats right now. So hopefully he'll be able to pull out a real good outing today against a guy, Daniel Norris, who'll turn 22 in about a week, out of Johnson City, Tennessee. This guy got all kinds of notices and talk about during spring training because he was living supposedly in his van that was well equipped for cooking and sleeping and what have you. But the bottom line is this guy can pitch. He's very talented. He's got a great arm. We've got some good stories to tell you about him. He looks like a winner for the Blue Jays.
Tons of home runs hit in this series, and you can understand why. The Jays do not want to hit the ball to Andrelton Simmons anymore.
Yeah, the defense for the Braves all around has been very good in this series, as it has been since day one. The Braves have only made 1 error so far on the season. No matter where you put Alberto Callaspo, he makes good plays for you. Made one there at third base yesterday, and the Braves executed this rundown beautifully yesterday as well. But the star of the whole show has been Andrelton. Handled this high throw from Alex Wood yesterday to turn one of the 5 double plays. And then this is the spectacular play that had everybody talking, Chip. No one had seen anybody make this kind of play at shortstop to prevent a double. And then he followed it up with the great catch out in left center field. Look how far he went to catch that ball. And then a little anger at the fact that the Blue Jays had scored a run that inning. He flipped the ball away, but the defense has been just terrific.
Fans in Toronto have been treated to 2 great ball games. You as well in Braves country. Hopefully we'll see a third one. Miller versus Norris. Couple of flamethrowers get after it in the third final and rubber game of our set. Here live from Toronto, Ontario.
Sunday.
Beautiful day for baseball in Toronto. There's the man of the hour, Jose Bautista. The Jays celebrate his great career with a bobblehead day as the Braves wrap things up. Third final and rubber game of the series, and he's imitating the doll just fine, I think it's safe to say.
He's got his mojo working.
Yes, he does. Hopefully the Braves will have some mojo today. They take on Daniel Norris with this starting lineup presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. As we told you, Freddie Freeman will be the DH today. Chance for Chris Johnson to start at first base. His first start at first since April 20th, 2013. He did play a couple of innings at first base last year after Freddie Freeman was hit by a pitch when the Braves played the Astros. But this kid, Joe, that Atlanta's facing today, Toronto loves him, and with good reason, it appears.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 195, again out of Johnson City, Tennessee. He was a second-round pick in 2011. He dropped to the second round because he had committed to Clemson, so a lot of teams shied away thinking he was going to cost too much. He didn't sign till late. In fact, he didn't pitch until instructional league. And while there, the guy who's now the bullpen coach for the Blue Jays, who was their minor league pitching instructor, Dane Johnson, said, we're going to have to make some changes. And to his credit, Daniel Norris said, whatever you do is fine with me as long as you make me better. And first couple of years trying to go through the transition of these changes, he didn't pitch so well in the minor leagues, and then all of a sudden caught fire. And last year 12-2 at 3 stops in their minor leagues with a 2.53 ERA and 163 strikeouts in 124 innings. Throws hard, has a cutter, slider, and changeup, and at age 21 is already a pitcher and not a thrower.
And that's certainly great news for this Toronto organization, who thought they would have Norris and Marcus Stroman 1-2 in their rotation in some combination this year. But Stroman's out with a knee injury and is lost for the year. So we get our first look at Norris and his first pitch, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball that stayed high for Cameron Maybin. And again upstairs, ball 2. Cameron looks for his first hit in the series. He's played excellent defensively, though, in center. And 3 straight out of the zone, and this is a concern for Norris, is it not?
He has walked some guys, 5 in 10 innings in his first 2 starts. He's also given up 3 homers.
And that one found the mark. Tom Hagen has the plate. 3 balls and a strike. Line drive in right field. Good at bat for Cameron Maybin. A 6-pitch sequence and a leadoff single gets things started for the Braves. Here's how the Jays line up on defense. Should have that with a C, by the way, since we're in Toronto. Yeah, that's how they spell it up here. Pilar, Pompey, and Bautista left to right in the outfield. Donaldson, the hitting hero yesterday. Justin Smoke, the former Ranger and Mariners, at first. And Russell Martin back in harness behind the plate. Alberto Callaspo has a couple of hits. Big day for him. It's his birthday today.
32. Cameron Maybin deserved that base hit. He deserves about 3 or 4 hits today after the raw deal he got yesterday at the plate from some calls.
Well, let's just say that some of the Braves weren't too thrilled with the strike zone that they got in the late innings last night. Maybin was rung up on a couple of questionable pitches, and Freddie Freeman too.
Now, to Cameron's credit, he didn't show up, Bruce Streckman, but he certainly was trying to figure out what was going on because of the strikes that were called. They were brutal.
Big lead by Maybin at first. 1-2 pitch. And way outside evens it up. Braves this year are 7 out of 10 in the stolen base department. Maybin's stolen 1, and he's been thrown out once.
Veteran catcher out to calm the kid down, overthrowing a little bit.
2-2 is high. Another deep count.
His last start against Tampa Bay got a no decision. The team lost 3-2. He went 5 innings, only gave up 2 hits, but walked 2 in those 5 innings and 2 runs.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. The throw by Martin. Tailed, but a great catch and tag to nail Maben. How in the world did Russell Martin make that throw with Callaspo diving out across the plate? A strike him out, throw him out, double play.
He's thrown out 37% of base stealers so far on the year. And despite the angle he had to throw from and the hitter he had to throw around, he dropped it right in there.
That tag was awfully high.
Yeah, it was.
But Joe West said it was good enough to retire Maben. And now Nick Markakis bats. What a series Nick has had here in Toronto. Five hits, 4 walks, and 1 flyout.
Slow motion of that tag. Got him.
He was out. Two balls and a strike from Markakis. It's a challenge for the Braves. They haven't seen Norris before. They've also had trouble hitting lefties this year. The Braves team hitting .205 against southpaw pitchers. Markakis 2 for 13 this year against lefties. And in the air to left, Markakis has the second Braves hit.
Hear that little murmur through the crowd. As soon as that was hit to left field, it's like the crowd was building because they thought Pilar was going to try to make another one of his diving catches. Have a series. Markakis, Nick, has been on base all but 1 time, and that was a deep fly to left.
He's 6 for 7, and that brings up Freddie Freeman. It's the first time Freddie's DH'd.
Yeah, that those numbers you saw there versus lefties and righties, those splits. The Braves' OPS against left-handers is the lowest in baseball.
An emotional homecoming of sorts for Freddie Freeman. His mom and dad, Canadian. His mom, of course, passed away when Freddie was 10 years old. As this ball's hammered down the left field line, can he keep it fair? He can. It's up off the fence. Markakis on his way to third, and he'll stop there. A ringing double for Freddie Freeman with 2 outs. How about the job the Braves DHs have done in this series? Remember, last year the DHs for Atlanta had 4 hits. They have 3 in this series.
Another high fastball, but somehow Freddie able to get up and level off on it. Nice play again by Pilar, though, to save a run. Keep runners at second and third. And another great swing by Freddie.
Chris Johnson with 3 RBIs, 2 aboard with 2 out. And Martin saved a run.
And that caught stealing. Good throw by Russell Martin. Certainly paying off here. Chris has always hit left-handers with a high number.
He's 2 for 5 against him this year, and that's well outside. Or struggling with his command. 22 pitches here in the first inning. Chris, a lifetime .312 hitter against southpaws. He's fooled there with a good pitch. 2-1 the count.
That was a good call from Martin. They've got a base open if they need it, and rather than give in 2-0, call for a changeup.
Tomahawk eye evens the count.
Check out on the Sherwin-Williams Fox tracks, top of the zone. Big crowd here today.
Here comes the 2-2.
As one of our crew put it, this is like a World Series crowd. Upper deck is pretty full.
34,000 were here yesterday. 21,000 on Friday night. Full count pitch. And it's high, ball 4, and Johnny Gomes bats with the bases loaded here in the first.
Well, most of his misses have been up and shoulder high or above, so there's a mechanical issue they need to try to put their finger on, get him to calm down. The Braves in a position here to take an early lead. Be nice to put a run or two on the board in the first.
Saw a similar pattern from Drew Hutchinson in the first game. A lot of pitches early, only lasted 4 2/3, gave up 5 runs. That's a product of youth, I would imagine. And here he is, Norris, with 26 pitches and not out of the first inning yet. And they've been high stress pitches. He's got Gomes up there looking to do heavy damage. Pinch hit homer here Friday night, 0 for 4 yesterday. Outside, 1-0. Love it when Tom Hallion tells you why he called the pitch a ball.
Yeah.
Heard that ball out. And it was off the plate. Norris steps off. Yanked foul past Bo Porter. Even count. You caught this in our first couple of games with Johnny Gomes, something you don't often see among major league hitters anymore. That front foot is right at the back edge of the front of the batter's box.
Yeah, he's way up in the front of the box. Seems like most hitters in this day and age have migrated to the back line.
One and two. Markakis, Freeman, and Johnson the runners.
Nice stop here by Russell Martin. Good job not only to be in front of it and block it, but keep it in front of him. He's had a good inning already.
Line drive center field. And a leaping try by Pompey doesn't work. It's over his head. 2 runs are in. Here comes Chris Johnson around to score, and Johnny Gomes puts it in play, and the Braves get 3 in the first.
Put it in play with some authority. Pompey looked like he was going to be there to be able to make it kind of a reaching over the shoulder catch, and then I don't know what happened. Like the ball kind of sailed on him back toward right field a little bit. Break for Atlanta.
We'll see how it's scored.
3-run double.
A double for Gomes. He knocks in 3, and Atlanta has scored 3 in the opening inning. with 2 outs. That's been a trend in this series. 2-out production for the Braves batsman. Love it. Here's Bethancourt. Let's see if he can add on. High fly ball toward left. Pilar going back. Checks the scoreboard. He'll have plenty of room, and he'll make the play to retire the side. Pompey couldn't catch a drive off Johnny Gomes' bat, and the Braves cash it in for 3 in the top of the first. Pitching, and a bases clearing double puts Atlanta in front in the top of the first. Here come the Jays. Their starting 9 presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. 3 of the 6 hits by Jose Bautista have been home runs. He was a very frustrated camper until he unloaded last night, or yesterday afternoon I should say. And if we get our first look at Justin Smoak, he's in at first base defensively.
Shelby Miller makes his 3rd start of the year. He's 1-0, but his last 9 starts dating back to last season, 3-0 with a 186 and a 191 average against. Outstanding. Coming off a start against Miami, 5 innings, 3 hits and a run. His 4 keys to pitching success. He's got the kind of stuff he can challenge these guys no matter how hot they're swinging the bat. And 3 or more, he's already got 3 to work with, and when he's given 3 or more runs in a start, he's 21-2.
Devin Travis leads off. Norris had deep counts the entire first inning. That has been an issue at times for Shelby. Long innings. So he has an easy time with a 3-run lead in the first. Out of play. Gets right after it. 0-2.
One of the biggest differences in this series, though, Chip, to date, has been pitch count in terms of what is balls and strikes per at bat. When you're pitching behind against these guys, they're a completely different ball club. And when the Braves pitchers have been ahead, they've handled them pretty well. Only, I think, 1 0-2 hit that I can recall in the series.
That's upstairs to Travis. Leads their club in average and RBIs. He's the de facto leadoff man until Jose Reyes comes back. Reyes out with a cracked rib, has not played this series. Don't know when he'll return. And out of play off the bat of Travis. Toronto got him in a deal with the Tigers. St. Anthony goes to Detroit, and they got the former Florida State collegiate star in return. A deal that's really helped both clubs. And he got drilled on a 1-2 count, and that one looked like it hurt.
I would have to think that knocked the wind out of him. Oh, right in the ribs. Boy.
So Travis aboard in front of Josh Donaldson. Toronto made an adjustment to their lineup and moved him from the 5th spot to the 2nd spot. Since he's hit 2nd, he has gone off. 9 hits and 17 at bats, including 3 home runs since hitting 2nd. And that's where he is today. Walk-off homer in the 10th inning yesterday.
5th walk-off homer in his career already.
In the air to center, and Maben should track it down. Cameron's got it. Donaldson's retired. Out number 1. Listen to the reception for Jose Bautista. Braves held him hitless in the series until the 8th inning, and he crushed a 2-run homer off Jim Johnson that gave Toronto a brief lead.
Yeah, sinker that didn't sink. Just stayed flat and went right to the barrel of his bat.
Power versus power here in the 1st inning.
Well, he is trying to challenge him. He's throwing a lot of fastballs, but like Norris, he's having a little trouble getting it down.
Here comes the 2-0 for Bautista. That went belt high. Joe mentioned the complete game 3-hit shutout Miller threw at the Jays last June. Bautista was 0 for 4 in that game. Snap throw back to first.
That was awfully quick by Christian.
Bet that felt good on the side too.
Yeah, he was already grabbing at his side. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay in the game.
Evan Travis hit by a pitch on the left side. He's trying to stay in the game, and after that dive back to first,
Yeah, I think it looked like it got rib. It didn't look like it got his side. It looked like it got right at the bottom of the rib cage. At about 95. And nobody can think twice about him coming out of this game after that.
He doesn't want to.
Well, but he can barely walk.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's trying to walk gingerly so that it doesn't hurt.
So Tollison's going to come in and pinch run for Travis. And how about Toronto? The first 2 weeks, they're starting second baseman, starting shortstop out with an injury to their side. In the case of Reyes, it's a cracked rib. We won't know until later specifically what knocked Travis out of the game. That's a shame. Their best hitter, their best RBI guy at this point, knocked out today.
And it was on a 1-2 count and the first batter of the ball game. So there was no intent, no reason. Just a fastball that got away from Shelby.
So dangerous pitch to a dangerous hitter now. Bautista ahead in the count. 3 balls and a strike. Pop back toward us. And just out of reach. A fan from Peterborough, Ontario, caught that ball on the ricochet.
Fan from Orlando, Florida, almost did.
No chance. He was bailing. The ball was coming back in a hurry. 3 balls, 2 strikes. See if Tollison's running. He's not. And ball 4. So now it's Miller's turn to suffer some deep counts in the opening inning. And the DH for Toronto today is Encarnacion. He's hitting 191. What terrifies you is he's 2 for his last 26. Braves hope he erupts when Baltimore comes to town next. Did he go? Nope. 1 ball, no strikes. Everything up. He was thinking damage with that swing.
Thinking about tying it up.
1 ball, 1 strike. 2 runners on without benefit of a hit. A hit batsman and a walk with 1 out. That's a foul ball. And now the count's 2-2. Encarnacion, a great slugger in his own right. 2-time All-Star. 20 or more doubles and 25 or more homers in 3 consecutive seasons for Toronto. His best month came last May when he had 16 home runs in 1 calendar month for the Jays. 2-2 pitch. Popped him up. Chris Johnson gives chase at first, and he will have no play. It's a big crowd. And Shelby, it's a new baseball. We were all amazed taking the bus ride over to the ballpark today. The line to get in the stadium was, what, a mile long?
A long way.
Everybody waiting their turn patiently to come in and get the bobblehead. Joe's right. There are not many empty seats today. Great crowd for our last look at the Jays until late in the year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Double play ball. Simmons has it. And that takes care of Toronto in the first. Atlanta scores 3 in the top half. Toronto loses Devin Travis and is losing 3-0.
top of the second. And as we have mentioned earlier, Blue Jays starter Daniel Norris likes to live out of his 1978 Volkswagen van during the offseason. He told me it just is a way for him to stay at peace with himself and stay mentally even before getting into the highs and lows of a 162-game season. During the season, he turns to photography. As you take a look at some of the photos he's taken and posted on his Instagram, he said we are so fortunate to travel as major leaguers to so many cities, and he likes to document things and people he sees along the way, guys.
Yeah, he's a talented kid, a free spirit, I guess is the best way to describe him.
Yeah, he's not living in his van, if you're wondering, here in Toronto. He's got a place. But just call it his home away from home.
He even nicknamed his van.
Oh, yeah?
Shaggy. He bought that VW camper for $10,000. And he said he just really prefers to live very simply. What he needs, he told the story of the day when all the Blue Jays minor leaguers gathered and all of their bonus money was paid out, and he got a $2 million bonus. All the checks were deposited on the same day. Kids were in camp, and they said, all right, let's go to the mall. The guys were coming back with more stuff that could fit in the cars. And that just sort of stuck in his mind as crazy. The story goes he went and bought a $14 t-shirt with his bonus money, bought it on sale, he said, and he still has it in his arsenal as far as the wardrobe is concerned. So he's doing it his way. Good for him. Jace Peterson to center. Pompey is back, and he'll catch that one for out number one in the second inning.
Some hard hit balls off of him here in the early going. Even the last two outs, deep fly balls. It's Tollison who stays in the game to play second. We'll give you word on Travis as soon as we have it.
Can't imagine a better defensive series for a major league player than the one Andrelton Simmons has had here. And the offense is picking up too. His fourth hit of the series. Andrelton batting ninth, has a one-out hit. The lineup turns back over to Cameron Maybin, who singled to start the game.
91 fastball, target away, delivered it on the inside. Missed his spot and paid for it. Really nice swing by Andrelton.
Are you surprised at Norris's velocity so far?
Well, because of what we've been led to believe. If we had seen him pitch before and he was throwing 95 or 96, then we would have some pause.
Maybin with a bunt. Norris makes a nice play. And a big turnaround second for Simmons. Maybin out on a bunt try. 2 out. Beg your pardon, Joe.
Well, just that he's been a 91, 92 here today when we'd been led to believe it was 95, 96 more in the Shelby Miller class. That bunt down the third baseline for a hit. That's twice in this series, one by Eric Young, although I know it wasn't Young yesterday. Was it Maybin again when R.A. Dickey made that great play?
It was Simmons.
Simmons. Make it a base hit or make it foul. And so far they've given the pitchers a chance to make the play.
Callaspo struck out into a double play. 2 strikeouts yesterday. Those are the first 3 of the season for him. Oh, 0-2.
Russell Martin thought that today would be a little easier after having to fend off that knuckleball yesterday. But so far Russell has been jumping up to make catches. He's been in the dirt to block pitches. All right, Dickey there taken off the hook yesterday after giving up 4 early runs.
Full count pitch for Callaspo. And he serves it to left. Pilar is there. And he's got it. Side retired. Braves get a 1-out hit. Nothing else. 3-0 Braves in Game 3 in Toronto. Series for Andrelton Simmons and 1 run against the AL East.
I'll say 352 average, 7 extra base hits, great numbers in this his 50th interleague game. Bumped up his average with that base hit there in the 2nd inning. And they thought he could only field.
See if Shelby Miller has an uneventful second. 21st inning pitches, a walk, a hit batsman, and a double play. Got him out of it. We'll face Russell Martin to start things off. And a strike.
Good first pitch curveball.
Jays hit to 5 double plays yesterday. 1 in as many innings so far today.
Well, one of the keys I said was to challenge these guys today. Just because they've hit some balls out of the ballpark, the last thing you want to do is start trying to make perfect pitches and just miss and run your pitch count up and walk guys. The Braves in their last 4 games have walked 16 batters. And by comparison, in their first 5 games, 14 walks in 5 games, 16 in their last 4.
And in this ballpark, everybody's a home run threat.
You just can't put guys on. You know, I think I said this yesterday. I just don't remember the ball carrying like it is here.
Really?
Before. Yeah, I knew it was a good hitter's park, but the way the ball's been jumping here is pretty nuts.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Did get the inside corner. Good try, but now it's 2-2. How close was this?
Sherwin-Williams painting the corners. Just missed it.
And Martin just missed that. Another breaking ball, and it exploded. First strikeout for Shelby today. Good start to the second. 1 out. Here's Justin Smoke. out of Goose Creek, South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina. Big time prospect with Texas, was traded to Seattle for Cliff Lee. I mean, he was a prized offensive prospect, big hitter in the minor leagues, but Joe, somehow that hasn't translated to the major league level for him.
No, and we haven't seen him the first 2 games because he hasn't gotten off to a very good start like some of the other veterans. And that's when they put Encarnacion out at first base and switched around their DH.
And I'm guessing that's how Toronto would prefer to have it. Smoke playing first,
Yeah.
Encarnacion DH, and then Navarro trade bait.
Well, they don't have many left-handed hitters in their lineup.
Right.
And the more lefties, I mean, the more he can play and carry his weight, then the better they like it, just for a little more balance.
One ball, 2 strikes. Base hit to right. Markakis will hold Smoke to a single, and that's the first Toronto hit of the day.
Pretty good sign for him, turning around this 96 fastball, but it was belt high.
That was his first career hit against the Braves. Smoke now 1 for 19 lifetime against Atlanta pitching. Kevin Pillar's become a fan favorite. Bouncing ball toward third. Tricky hop. There's one. There's a great try, but no double play. Pillar hustled down the line.
That would have been very special because Callaspo had to charge and handle that tricky hop. Jace Peterson got rid of it quickly, but Pillar too quick down the line. Almost.
Good to see Shelby get the ball on the ground with this slow turf. Is Toronto challenging the play at second base? Guess not.
Well, if they were, Joe West was real excited about it with his arms folded out there. like come and get me.
I think that's exactly what John Gibbons saw. You saw the smile in the dugout, and I think he was looking right at Joe like, really? Dalton Pompey. Ball 1. Pompey, a couple of hits in the series. 1 ball, 1 strike. If he had a dog, he'd probably name him Vesuvius. Just a guess.
Probably.
3-0 Atlanta pitch. Little pop, deep short. There goes Andrelton. He's got it, no problem. Put it in your back pocket. They keep hitting it to short, and Simmons keeps making great plays. And look at the smile on his face. After 2, Atlanta's up 3. his mates. Shelby Miller's through 2 with the lead. Nick Markakis gets things started. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
Thanks to this series, his numbers have gone through the roof against Toronto. His last 23 games, a .433 on base percentage. And right now, the highest ranked active player in interleague batting average. A lot of that damage against the National League, of course. So he's turned the tables in this series.
My impressions of Nick so far in the first 2 weeks, Joe. Steady.
He's kind of the silent assassin.
Yeah.
You know, he's just got this very deadpan look on his face, going about his business. And when he gets in the box or has to make a play, he's on the bases. Boy, oh boy. He certainly can't sneak up on anybody anymore. Everybody knows what a good player he is.
Norris has it hit off the heel of his glove. Had plenty of time to make the play, and he did. And Markakis retired on a comebacker to the mound. One away in the third. Hope our friends and fans in the Southeast are hanging in there this weekend. Boy, we understand the weather's been horrible. Tons of rain all across the state of Georgia. So stay safe.
Trouble is, there's been so much rain and the ground saturated, and any wind at all is liable to topple a few of those pines.
Freddie Freeman with a double his first time. He hit it the other way, and they still play him to pull. Ball one. Again, mentioned that Freddie's parents are from Ontario. It was a special homecoming of sorts for Freddie Freeman. His mom, of course, passed, but he said he spent the day yesterday walking around downtown, going to all the haunts that mom and dad used to go to, which he said was very special,
including going up in the CN Tower.
Two-one pitch. But he also said he aspires to play for the Canadian national team in the World Baseball Classic. He'd like to do that to honor his mom. But with Joey Votto and Justin Morneau, Freddie knows he might have to bide some time. But how much longer?
He knows he might have to play for the American team.
Yeah, that's true too. And he took ball 4. Norris didn't get the call. A one-out walk. Seven 3-ball counts for Norris in the first 2 innings and a third. And look at that pitch count. Joe told you, command is an issue for this youngster as he's learning at the major league level. First walk was issued to Chris Johnson. It loaded the bases and brought up Gomes, who delivered the decisive blow to this point.
But this is a little contrary to what we've been told about Norris, that he works both sides of the plate very effectively. Well, today he's been more up and down. He's especially been above the letters with his fastball as opposed to the corners.
Line into center field. That almost picked off Joe West. And Freeman's going to try for third. Here comes the throw. It's terrible. And Norris tried to back it up. It skips away from him in front of the Jays dugout. Another run is in, and all the way around to third base goes Chris Johnson. So Pompey's having an awful time in center field. The Braves' aggressive base running forces Toronto into another mistake, and a gift run makes it 4-0.
He almost picked off the camera. Made me flinch when he hit that right back through the middle. Good piece of hitting. And knowing the ball was slow and watching Pompey take his time to go to the baseball, Freddie took full advantage. And even though Norris was backing up, he couldn't flag that one down.
So that'll be a single and an E8. And the Braves lead 4-0. Infield in for Gomes, who's already knocked in 3 runs. 6 Braves hits so far. Johnny didn't even flinch. That ball was well inside.
Yeah, but be greedy here. 1 out. Get that guy in from third. However you got to do it. Russell Martin at this moment doesn't know which way to go. You know, he's not sure where the pitch is going to go, and he's got to be in an athletic position just to springboard to try to flag it down.
And as you said, that's tough duty. 24 hours after trying to corral R.A. Dickey's knuckleball. His bullpen's been used a lot. Estrada's the first man up. It's the third inning. Pitch. 3 balls and a strike.
Threw him a 2-0 changeup. It's an opportunity 3-1 where Johnny, if he wants to, can look for something other than the fastball.
Popped up, shallow left. Pilar is underneath. Might be deep enough. There's the catch. Runner tags. Here comes the throw. It is going to be dropped and off target. Great effort by Martin, who tried to catch it and then dive back to the baseline. Gomes with a sac fly earns his 4th RBI of the day, and the Braves lead 5-0.
Pilar did everything right. He stayed back behind the baseball, came to it, and then when he cut it loose, you could see that the throw was going to be way into foul territory. Russell Martin did everything he could. From that distance, Pilar should have made that a lot closer.
Again, one of the keys of this Braves season, run the bases aggressively. Atlanta's done that in the inning. They picked up a couple more runs. And now John Gibbons is out to talk to Norris, who will depart after 2 2/3 innings of work. Good start for the Braves. It's 5-0 in Game 3 in Toronto. Member today and get exclusive benefits customized to meet your needs. You'll also get a chance to secure your seats in 2017 for SunTrust Park. A-list prices increase next Friday, so visit braves.com/A-list or call 404-577-9100. Tough day for Daniel Norris. 5 runs in 2 2/3 innings. Marco Estrada is on in relief.
Former Brewer who has pitched a lot in the rotation for Milwaukee. Be an excellent extra starter for the Blue Jays and long man. Estrada was acquired for Adam Lind in November. 6 feet 180. Mostly fastball, changeup. Fastball in the high 80s, low 90s.
1 ball, 1 strike for Christian Bethancourt. His first start of the series. Can't say enough about the job A.J. Brzezinski did in back-to-back starts. Day game after the night game yesterday.
A.J.'s playing great.
Home run yesterday. And Bethancourt with a 1-2 count. And he's down on strikes, and that'll end the inning. A walk, a single, an error, and a sacrifice fly leads to 2 more Atlanta runs. It's 5-0 Braves. My producer for the Braves radio network. We think we've got it tough wearing coats and ties during the broadcasts. That's the official radio uniform that Jim and Don and Grandma Giffen have to wear.
It's up on the top of the CN Tower, cabled to do all kinds of tricks. My question is, why?
Ain't no way.
Not a chance.
No.
Couldn't even get me in the outfit.
Nope. Well, I know I couldn't get in the outfit. There's no chance.
Was it 1,600 feet high, something like that?
I don't want to know, to be honest with you. But what an unmistakable landmark here in Toronto. The other night, after the ball game, such a lively downtown. It's a great scene, and I think it's something the Braves are hoping they will have when the new ballpark opens.
Yeah.
So much to do right around Rogers Center after the game, but they did a beautiful job of lighting up the CN Tower with the same red that is in the Canadian flag after the ball game.
They do that every time just to celebrate an American coming up and putting on those cables. And
yeah. Fool another one.
Got another one.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ryan Goins, who's in at shortstop for Jose Reyes. They say he's their best defensive infielder. Did make an error the other night. And hitting a $143. Little tapper. Can anybody get to it? Cayaspo with a bare hand could, but couldn't corral it. And a swinging bunt turns into an infield hit for Toronto. That's their second hit of the game.
Shelby was a little tardy in reacting to that. Maybe off the bat he thought it was hit harder towards short, but he was real slow in turning around to try to flag it down himself.
Tell you what,
was taking him toward first too.
Beg your pardon. It's a good thing Anderson was backing up on that play. If that squirts past him, Goins is in scoring position. As Steve Tollefson gets his first at bat of the game. Remember, Devin Travis was hit by a pitch and left with a left rib contusion in the opening inning. Fouled at the plate.
Now he's limping. Off the inside of the left foot.
Callaspo flagged it down, got one. Great play at third by Alberto Callaspo. You said it earlier, the Braves defense has been best in baseball the first 2 weeks.
And I also was talking about how it doesn't matter which spot Callaspo's playing, he does a nice job. He's turned some super double plays down to second base, saved a base hit there.
That keeps the double play in order for Donaldson, who flied out to center. 5-0 Atlanta. Braves clicking in Toronto. Double play ball. Simmons to Peterson to first. Atlanta is doubling up Toronto at will. That's 7 double plays in the first game and a third. Big theme in this 3-game set in Toronto.
Or lack of it in terms of the Toronto Blue Jays. That ball really sliced away from Pompey that led to 3 runs. And then last inning, the base hit to center. Pompey lets loose a throw that clears everybody out, allows Freddie Freeman to score, and allows Chris Johnson to go to third, where he scored on this very shallow fly ball to left because Pilar's throw tailed off into foul territory. Good hustle by the offense. Poor execution by the defense.
Those are our Toyota key plays of the game to this point. 5-0 Braves after 3. Atlanta's turned 7 double plays in the last 2 games. 2 in the first 3 innings for Toronto's offense today. Peterson, Simmons, and Maben coming up. Marco Estrada on in relief. The Jays ripped it foul back. It's 0-2.
Remember last night we were talking about how Jays should never let infields play him to pull, so drastically with a shift. Well, now with a right-hander, with that base hit he got to left field, they've adjusted their movement a little bit. Shortstop still up the middle, but it's better than it was.
And an off-speed pitch got him to swing and miss. And Martin will make the peg to first for out number 1. Estrada's come in with 2 strikeouts of the first 2 Braves hitters he's seen.
Good changeup. Now this guy led the major leagues last year in home runs allowed. He gave up 29, 27 as a starter.
Well, he'll fit right in this ballpark.
Yeah, he'll love it. 39 appearances for the Brewers last year, 18 starts.
Breaking ball stayed high and tight for Simmons. Off-speed stuff's been very effective.
I'd say early in the count you can go up there looking for it.
Down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Was right on that one. That was a fastball.
Missed the corner. Close call.
Best fastball at 90, just missed. Sherwin-Williams, he didn't quite paint the corner.
Into the big crowd, foul to the right. We'll do it again. Good at bat for Simmons. He draws a 1-out walk. And back to the top of the order for Cameron Maybin. Single and a bunt try that Mr. Norris took care of in the 2nd inning.
Yeah, it looked like Terry Pendleton and Kevin Seitzer were both talking to Cameron in the dugout last inning, too, about that bunt. Could have been talking about the situation because Simmons was on base in front of him with 1 out. Maybe they'd rather take a chance with a 1st and 3rd if he gets a base hit. Or maybe just talking about what I said, which is you want it foul or you want it to be a base hit next time. But they were already visiting.
More action in the Toronto bullpen. Jeff Francis, remember him?
Mm-hmm.
They just brought him up from the minor leagues. He's getting ready for Markakis and company. Should the lineup get to there? Bouncer up the middle. Nice pick. Nice turn. But Maybin's speed beats the wrap at first. Goins did all he could, but Maybin can fly.
Pendleton tried to do his best to slow Tollison down too.
No doubt about that one, though. Still some doubt about the Pompey play in the 7th inning of yesterday's game that led to the 3rd Toronto run. Freddie Gonzalez went back and looked at it 5 or 6 times, Joe. He said before the game, not enough evidence to overturn the call on the field, but they timed the kid at 3.9 or 4 seconds flat out of the right-hand batter's box to first base.
That's quick. Still out.
Ball 1 to Callaspo. That's headed out of play.
Maybe Cameron can get a better jump off the right-hander than he did off the lefty. Good lead.
Not going. And the pitch stroked towards center field. Pompey to his left. He's there to retire the side. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Bautista, Encarnacion, and Russell Martin are coming up. It's all Braves so far.
To nothing. And if you take a look at the numbers with pitchers under age 25, Shelby Miller is 2nd in wins and 3rd in strikeouts behind obviously his teammate Julio Teheran, who leads at both of these categories. But if you ask Shelby about these numbers, which I did, he said that's the first I've heard of it. I don't really pay attention to numbers. I try to stay out of the stats. He says my mentality is to get out there and compete. I like winning, and that's what I stick with. Stay away from the numbers. Go out there and try to win the game.
That's what Adam Wainwright said about him too, Christina. When Braves made the trade, I called Adam and asked him, give me a scouting report, and that was exactly what he said. Tough competitor, somewhat stubborn, but has a new pitch, that two-seamer that he worked on last summer. And he said Atlanta fans will love him.
And I think Atlanta fans are going to love the potential of what could be a very deep, very strong, and young rotation in the years to come with Teheran, Miller, and Wood. I think about Mike Minor, who we hope will be coming back soon. But then Fultonevich, Banuelos, Whistler, Williams Perez, Max Fried, who's coming back from Tommy John surgery. That's the real remarkable part about the job John Hart, John Capalella, and the Braves baseball operations staff did in this offseason. They have really stockpiled a terrific group of young power arms. Don't know if they're going to all pan out. There's a lot more in the cupboard now than there was last October. As Bautista strokes that toward left, Gomes is back and has plenty of room. One out, Bautista 0 for 1.
Well, thanks to that two-seamer for Shelby Miller, it's given him an extra weapon. It, I think, falls under the category at times as a cutter. Maybe that's how it gets rated when they're doing all these analyses. But it's more of a two-seamer that has some sinking action to it. Curveball and a changeup. Of course, his fastball is electric in the mid-90s.
One ball, no strikes for Encarnacion. He hit into the first of two Toronto double plays. His twin killing ended the first. All those numbers that Christina showed us, as Encarnacion thinking homer, didn't get it. Shelby Miller started 66 big league games. That's it, including today. So he's still learning how to harness all those weapons. Bouncing ball to first. Easy play for Chris Johnson, who's got it. 2 out. I see a little John Smoltz in Shelby Miller.
I do too. And the more he pitches and the more he not only harnesses what he has but knows how to use it in various situations, especially when he learns the hitters a little better, he's just going to get that much better and have the confidence to use all of them whenever he needs it.
2 quick outs with Russell Martin, the hitter. He struck out to start the second. That's, I think, the most exciting thing to see in a pitcher's progression, when they stop throwing and start pitching. And you can certainly pitch when you get 5 early runs.
Well, you can, but let's go back to Fultonavich that we saw in spring training. Freddie, Roger, the organization loves the guy. He's got electric stuff. He's in the mid to upper 90s with his fastball. But it's about how to use that. And you just can't walk as many guys as he was walking. And as soon as he gets a little better command, we'll see him up here.
Martin way behind. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Another late swing. Here we are in the 4th inning, and look at the pitch count for Shelby Miller, less than 60. We've seen him at 60 after 2 innings, a time or 2 this year. 2-2. Tipped and caught. Martin didn't get it, and Miller has a 1-2-3, bottom of the 4th. National League player is not an easy thing, we're told. This is fast motion of Freddie Freeman. The entire last half inning the Braves were batting. Where do I go? Where do I sit? What do I do?
Who are these guys?
Right. Hey, Chris Johnson, I thought, put it really well as he was the DH for the first time, like Freddie Freeman in this series. He said it's really odd because it's like making 4 pinch hit appearances a game without the facilities to go really prepare. He said here in Toronto there isn't a true cage that's accessible down the tunnel to get ready. So you just sit, wait, and try to stay as loose and ready as you can. Not easy. If you're not used to it. Let's begin our first look at Jeff Francis. Remember him? Terrific pitcher with Colorado in his day.
3 different clubs last year, the Reds, the A's, and the Yankees. Great big guy, 6'5", 200 pounds. Former first-round draft pick. He had made a start down in Buffalo and pitched real well. 5 innings of shutout ball, so he's back in the big leagues.
He looked like the real deal in 2005. 14 wins in Colorado, 13 in 2006, and then 17-9 in 2007. Hasn't won double digits since.
Pitched in the postseason for him too, I believe.
In 2007. Won a game in the division series and the LCS. Lost a World Series game against, is that the Red Sox?
Yes.
07? Yeah,
yes,
Red Sox.
That was when they had gone on that unbelievable tear through September in the postseason and then had to sit for a week waiting for the ALCS to be completed, and they were flat as a pancake in the World Series.
3-2 for Nick Markakis. And that one is served to short. What a catch by Goins. His turn to make the highlight reel.
Braves have been doing all the robbing in this series, but as your dad would say, that's highway robbery right there.
So here's Freeman. He's taken to the DH role just fine. He's doubled and scored, walked and scored today. And roller foul and out of play. Already a marked improvement for the Braves designated hitters in interleague play this year. As we said yesterday, it's hard to believe that the Braves DHs had a combined total of 4 hits last year. 4.
It's not very many, is it?
And Freeman smokes one to the shortstop. Goins got a glove on it, but could do nothing with it. That's a base hit.
And that hurt. I'm not sure he got leather as much as he got skin on that to knock it down.
Another hit for Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, that got him on the wrist.
They can't lose any more infielders.
No.
Reyes is out. Travis is out. Goins took a shot on that rocket.
Tollison fouled the ball off his foot earlier.
Chris Johnson's been on base twice today. He scored twice. This one's driven into shallow right. Bautista nears the line. He's got it. 2 are out. Last 4 RBI game for Johnny Gomes came last May. got 4 in his first 2 at bats today. They signed him because he kills left-handed pitching. Another chance for him to do that here. 3-run double off Norris in the first, although ball should have been caught and wasn't. And a 3rd inning sacrifice fly. Johnny's RBI high for one game is 6. Drove in a half dozen June 12th, 2010 against Kansas City.
He was born in Petaluma, California. Was it Petaluma that used to have the arm wrestling championships of the world? You know, like the ABC Wild World of Sports. I was just thinking Johnny would fit right in.
I remember Jim McKay in the gold jacket. Other than that, I can't help you. I'll check. Petaluma, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He grew up in the Napa Sonoma Valley wine country.
They have the international elbow bending competition.
Yes, they do.
Full count pitch. Time called. And a swing and a miss takes care of Gomes and the Braves in the 5th inning. Big day for Freddie Freeman. He's reached base 3 times. Big day for Gomes and the Braves, up 5 in the 5th.
This copyrighted telecast.
Hope to do the same back home April 27th through the 29th when the Nationals come to town. We've got great ticket offers for you. Sport Clips $8 Mondays get you a terrace level seat for $8. And the Coca-Cola $12 Tuesday deal gets you a club level seat for $12. Go to Braves.com/specials for the lowest ticket prices and best deals this season. Shelby Miller's rolling. He's got a 2-hit shutout working at the bottom part of the order. Is coming up. Smoke, Pilar, and Pompey. And Joe was right about Petaluma, California. Every year since 1953, they have in October a World Wrist Wrestling Championship.
Yeah, I think that's the proper term as opposed to arm wrestling.
Started in a local tavern and then was immortalized in one of the great movies of all time, starring Sylvester Stallone, Over the Top.
Oh, it was a good one. One of my favorites. Yes, he did.
Oh. We're just not seeing eye to eye with Bruce Dreckman this series,
no.
are we?
Nope. Yes, he did.
Doesn't matter. There's Tom Hallion with that distinctive third strike call. Been waiting for that all day. And Miller has his third strikeout. Smokes down.
Good tailing action on that fastball. Tom Hallion from a long family of chiropractors.
One out for Pilar. And that's upstairs. Ball one. Something in the water. Agrees with Shelby Miller here in Toronto. Complete game 3-hit shutout last year. He's out into his 5th inning. He's allowed only 2 hits and no runs to Toronto.
And he's being aggressive, just doing his best to pound the zone, keeping them on the defensive. Boy, that was excellent movement down low. I think that's the first time he's shaken off Christian today.
Swing and a miss by Pilar. That ball exploded down and away. And Miller struck out the last 3 Jays in order.
That one never had the plate. Started it beautifully right at the outside corner and made him think fastball. Had already committed too late to stop.
Line drive by Pompey to left on the first pitch. Shelby goes to the stretch for the first time since inning number 3. That's Toronto's 3rd hit of the day. Goins had an infield hit his first and only time up today. Belt high strike. Keep you updated on all the other scores around the National League. Good one in Washington today. The Phillies and Nats are scoreless. David Buchanan out of Georgia State pitching against Steven Strasburg. At last report, the Marlins were beating Matt Harvey. It was 1-0 early in New York.
That's news. Mets have won 7 in a row and are 6-0 at home.
We head there next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Trevor Cahill looks for better luck in the series opener against Jonathan Neese.
Several things in play today for this series, this rubber game of the series. You win today, you obviously win the series, but you also go in an off day on a good note. Feeling good about winning 2 out of 3 in Toronto. Still got a ways to go, but a 5-0 lead certainly makes you feel good right now.
And they just put the Mets score on the board. Mets 7, Marlins 1. They got 7 runs off Tom Kohler a minute ago. And strike 3 called. Miller strikes out the side in the 5th inning. He's in a groove. He's up 5-0 after 5. Rubber match of the series at Rogers Center. Is rolling along. Maybe he can help us with the trivia question. It's brought to you by AT&T Universe. And the question is, name the only left-handed pitcher in Toronto history to win 20 games.
Jimmy Key.
That's what I thought of immediately.
I think he won 22 one year.
That's inside to Christian Bethancourt. As Jeff Francis goes to work, his career sidetracked by shoulder surgery, 2009. And to his credit, he keeps trying to fight through it. Bouncing ball out of play.
You mentioned some of the minor league guys a minute ago. I was looking at Mississippi's game last night. They beat Jackson 7-3. Malik Smith, who came over from the Padres in the deal along with Jace Peterson, he's red hot. He's 10 for his last 20. Had a triple last night. Scored 2 runs, stole 2 bases. He's swiped 6 bases already, so a good start for him in Double-A.
Bethancourt down on strikes. Francis got him for out number 1. That's the other exciting thing. It's not just pitching that the Braves were able to stockpile. They feel very excited about a lot of their position players. Matt Lipka, one of them.
Yeah, Lipka's leading that team in hitting at .393.
One away, 6th inning. And downstairs. You know, Toronto will give Jeff Francis a long look. They love native Canadian players. Jeff is from Vancouver. He lives in London, Ontario in the offseason. Big breaking ball and a beauty.
2 in a row, 69 miles an hour.
And he just struck out Peterson. He's punched out 3 in a row.
Good return to the big leagues for Jeff Francis. He did this to Markakis. First batter he faced. Got ahead of him in count and then dropped down. And Nick was able to lay off that pitch.
Estrada and Francis in relief doing a good job. And a ground ball to short. Easy inning for Francis. He's retired 5 in a row. Top of the Toronto order is coming up. It's been more than enough for Shelby Miller so far through 5 scoreless frames.
He's had all his pitches working. He's been right around the strike zone all day long, and he's gotten better as the game's gone along, as evidenced by striking out the side last inning.
Shelby came in with an ERA of .90. It's at .60 right now. And he's got 1, 2, and 3 coming up for the Jays. And he is just pouring strike after strike into the glove of Christian Bethancourt. Whoa, what a grab.
Nice play, young man.
Two quick strikes for Steve Tollison. A little squibber. Miller turned the wrong way, but it worked out. Nice play. 1 out.
That's kind of what happened to him on that little squibber by Goins. He followed through to the first base side and had a little trouble getting turned around. This time he just turned with his face to center field and got in position to field it, and a little quicker on the reaction too. Well done.
Josh Donaldson 0 for 2. Right there. 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, he went around.
Well, if he went, then Smoke definitely went. No harm, no foul.
Full count. Don't want to put people on in front of Bautista, Encarnacion, and Martin, even with a big lead. Strike 3 call. A perfect paint job froze Donaldson. 2 out.
3-2 pitch. Looked like a cutter or maybe a 2-seamer that was moving just a fraction to the outside corner.
Up and into Bautista. He spun out of the way.
Anybody with a couple of breaking balls trying real hard not to make a mistake in or let one get away inside again. Shelby's working quick too.
And he lost Bautista. 2-out walk. Second walk to go with a hit batsman for Miller today.
Must have been low. Yep. Sherwin-Williams painting the corners.
Now Bethancourt out. Good chance for Miller to catch his breath for a moment. Way outside, ball one. Line drive into left field. That'll get down for a 2-out hit. So Toronto with a 2-out rally in the 6th inning. Their 4th hit, all of them singles.
He kind of combed that fastball. Carried his bat down the line like he thought maybe he was going to hang up and get caught. He's gotten Martin on some breaking balls, gotten him to chase some breaking balls. But last time up when he struck him out, he was on a good fastball. It was running away from Martin. It too might have been a cutter.
No balls into strike. Now Martin is down to his last swing. We call for Shelby to be aggressive. He has been today.
He has been. I think when that pitch came up and in on Bautista, I think it shook him up a little bit because it got away from him, and then he tried to work away from him so as not to make another mistake, and kind of lost focus just for a bit.
After that walk, a base hit to left certainly has his attention, as does Russell Martin. And a count to the catcher, 0-2. In the air, well hit to right. Markakis on the run, still going. He's at the wall. He can't get it. It's off the base of the wall. A couple of runs may score. Throw to the plate. They do score. Throw back to second. Safe. It's a 5-2 game. A rare 0-2 mistake by a Braves pitcher, and Martin cranks a double and makes a game of it.
It's only about the second one I can remember in the series, but that one was right down the middle. And I thought Nick was going to have some room, but I kind of lost him in the message board out there, and I couldn't see how close he got to the wall. He was tracking it. Had May been there to help him, he may have actually hit right at the base of the fence.
So I think you're right, Joe. That up and in pitch to Bautista changed the entire tenor of the inning. A walk, a single, a double, all with 2 outs. And now Smoke is the hitter. Braves bullpen begins to labor. The Jays 3 out of 14 in the series with runners in scoring position. Ball 1. McKirahan is the first man up for the Braves. Snap throw back, and nice play by Simmons to smother that at the bag.
Wasn't crazy about that because it turned into a pitch out, which runs the count to 2-0, trying to pick a guy off at second base.
Here's the long inning we hoped we wouldn't see from Shelby Miller today. and Smoke walks on 4 pitches. And now Toronto brings the potential tying run to the plate. Kevin Pillar's 0 for 2. He's hit 1 homer this year. He's also struck out once today. And Miller approaching 100 pitches.
Pillar's been aggressive early in the count, too.
Popped him up. Gomes in left. Maben joins him, and Johnny's there, and that retires the side. Long inning turns into 2 Toronto runs, and the Jays creep closer. It's 5-2 heading to the 7th. For Bark in the Park Day. The package includes a human ticket, a canine ticket, and a Braves ceramic dog bowl. Additional human tickets can be purchased at a discounted rate, but space is limited. So visit Braves.com/bark to secure your tickets today. See if the Braves can get those 2 runs back. 5-2 with the top of the order coming up. Cameron Maben starts it off. Estrada and Francis are giving the Toronto offense a chance to catch up. They've pitched scoreless ball over 3 1/3 innings. After Derek Norris was chased, allowing 5 runs in 2 2/3.
Been doing it a lot with off-speed pitches too.
And a great start. Maben a leadoff walk. Chance to manufacture some offense here in the inning. Here's Callaspo 0 for 3.
And that's what's important for Cameron Maben and Eric Young Jr. When they're in the leadoff spot, they don't have to go 2 for 4, but you'd like them to go 2 for 4 and getting on base. Cameron has a base hit and a walk. He's 2 for 4. And both times hitting on have been leading off an inning.
Little squiver to first, and the tag by Smoke. What a play at first by Justin Smoke on the bloop double play line drive to first.
that hurt. Got him on the hand as he was diving back.
So a walk and a double play brings up Nick Markakis. 5-2 Braves, 7th inning. And a shot toward third and through for a base hit. Donaldson got leather on that but couldn't corral it. Nick Markakis, we're going to have to drag him kicking and screaming through customs. That's 7th hit in the series.
And goes the other way with the left-hander. Fastball up and out over the plate. Wasn't trying to pull it. Could be if Donaldson doesn't get a glove on it, he might have a chance at a double.
So that brings up Freddie Freeman, who has a perfect day at the plate. McCurahan and Cody Martin warming for the Braves. Aaron Loop is up for Toronto. And yanked foul. Steele right to the Braves first baseman. Shelby Miller pitched into the 6th inning for the first time this year. He's around 100 pitches. Freeman unloads deep center. Pompey on the run. Still going onto the warning track near the fence. He's got just enough room. Freddie Freeman's hit about 20 balls to straightaway center in the first 2 weeks. And that one tracked down to send us to the stretch. Shelby Miller's through 6. He's got a 5-2 lead. Now the game rests in the hands of the Braves bullpen. It's a 5-2 score, and we'll see how Freddie Gonzalez manages these final 3 innings. First man out of the chute is the rookie left-hander.
We talked about that in our opening comments, Chip, about some of these young guys kind of getting an eye-opener here in the second week after such a good start. Third outing for Andrew McCurahan. Gave up some runs to Miami in his last outing.
Bunt try right back to the mound. And a good start. Dalton Pompey is retired for out number 1. Dalton's had a tough day today. Same point you made about Cameron Maven. Make it a hit or make it foul.
Yeah. McCurran here matched up with the bottom of their order, a switch hitter in Pompey, a lefty, and then Tollison, who was inserted in the first inning. That is quite a switch from the first week of the season for the bullpen.
This kid's got a good arm.
Sure does. Sure does. It's all about getting some experience, getting some confidence at this level, trusting your pitches.
Letter high, strike 2. Tollison to follow Goins in the Toronto 7th.
Make him put it in play. Not a home run threat.
He fouled it straight back. The pitch was 95 miles an hour. Mets lead the Marlins 7-3 now in New York. As Joe mentioned, the Mets red hot. They've won 7 straight. If they win today, 10-3 will be their best start in franchise history. Matt Harvey started that game for New York today. And the Marlins, a couple of innings away from a 3-10 start. Not many expected that. Another 2-2 pitch. Goins hanging tough. Good news, I guess, for Toronto. Devin Travis had x-rays taken of his ribs. Remember, Shelby Miller hit him with a pitch in the first sequence of the game for Atlanta's defense. Those x-rays apparently were negative. It was called a contusion. His status day to day.
Good.
Another 2-2 offering. In the air toward left. That's headed for the crowd of 44,794 today. They haven't had a chance to make much noise, though. Atlanta jumped on the Jays for 3 in the first inning, added 2 more in the third. Toronto defensive lapses very, very costly in those opening innings. But after Daniel Norris left, Estrada and Francis have pitched great relief. And a swing and a miss.
By the way, just kept throwing strikes. 2-2. Wasn't trying to trick him, maybe go to 3-2. He just kept throwing the ball in there, make him go and swing. Good job.
Freddie Gonzalez on his way out to the mound. He'll go get Andrew McCarrahan, who works 2/3 of a perfect inning, including that strikeout of Ryan Goins. 5-2 Atlanta. We continue in the 7th. 7th inning in Game 3 of the series. Up next for the Braves, it's a trip to the Big Apple. Off day tomorrow, then Tuesday, Wednesday nights, 6:30 Eastern for the Tuesday and Wednesday broadcast. Braves live. Then Thursday afternoon, a 12:30 start. Cahill, Stoltz, and Tehran, the Braves pitchers, as Atlanta will try to cool off the red-hot Mets.
Cody Martin got a win here, his first big league win a couple of nights ago, as he was in there when the Braves got the 3 runs in the 8th inning. He worked only an inning that night, gave up a hit and a walk. That walk was the first one he issued in his first 6 outings.
I'm guessing, and it's only a guess, that Freddie would probably like to stay away from Jim Johnson, who's pitched 2 days in a row. So Cody Martin, with a clean start to the 7th, may work this inning and then the 8th, and hopefully set it up for Jason Grilli in the 9th with a 3-run lead.
This was definitely a matchup inning because he had the switch hitter, then the lefty. So McKierhan came in to take care of those guys, then turn it over to the right-hander to Tollison, and he got right-handers that follow him.
Martin sawed him off, but Tollison fouled it back.
And Freddie was asked last night about last night's bullpen use and why didn't he use Cody Martin again, and he said he has not worked in back-to-back games yet, or not to that point yet.
One-two count.
That's a nice compliment to Cody when writers are asking that question about why didn't you use a guy that's been so effective.
And he has been that. And that's off the plate. Full count. Donaldson's on deck. Strike 3 called. Tollison froze it.
Missed badly with the breaking ball and came right back with it for the strikeout. Laid it in there to make sure it was a strike. Great job.
How about the kids working the 7th inning? Couple of strikeouts from McKierhan and Martin, and they protect a 3-run lead.
Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
It's too bad we had to cut away from that shot of the CN Tower, because I think J. Chad hasn't gotten the harness off yet.
Yeah, well, it'd be really hard to unclamp me, I'll tell you. There's some people doing what Jonathan Chadwick did yesterday. I don't get it. Photo op, I guess.
Eighth inning, Chris Johnson starts it off.
And a bouncing ball out of play, foul. Five runs, 8 hits for the Braves, who've played errorless ball again today. 2 runs, 5 hits, a big error for Toronto. Both teams have left 5 on base. Jeff Francis starts his 4th inning of relief. In the air, shallow right. Mr. Bobblehead, Jose Batista's got it. 1 man down. Johnny Gomes hits. That went all the way to the screen. And it's 2-0. Cubs and Padres are playing in Chicago today. That's Andrew Cashner, a former Cub. John Lester is pitching for Chicago. 2-2 is the score. That game's in the 3rd inning. Crazy play at Wrigley. John Lester snagged a comebacker that got stuck in the webbing of his glove and had to take his glove off and throw it to Rizzo at first. And Rizzo took off his glove to catch the ball and make the put out at first base. You'll see that on the highlight shows later on tonight. As Gomes takes a walk, hope you tune into Fox Sports 1 for all the sports highlights of the day. And a 1-out free pass puts Gomes aboard, and that might be the end of the line for Jeff Francis.
If it is, he's done a great job for them.
Gibbons has that slow walk master, doesn't he?
Boy, he looks like he's got blisters all over both feet.
Big cheer for the native Canadian Jeff Francis. He's kept it close. Toronto goes to the pen. Toronto manager, and he's handed the ball to Roberto Osuna, who's in the 6th game of the season.
This guy's got a good live fastball. Tops out about 95. And so far at the beginning of the season, he's given up 3 hits and 22 at bats. Right-handers are just 1 for 11. Fastball slider change.
Fly ball, shallow left center field. Pompey gets there. Back to first is Johnny Gomes. 2 men are out. John Gibbons was a longtime coach in the Mets system and was named the interim manager of the Toronto Blue Jays after Carlos Tosca was relieved of his duties. Gibbons managed here 2004 through 2008, then was rehired in 2013.
That doesn't happen very often. Although I can think of another manager that did pretty well in his second turn through Atlanta.
He managed up here too. One ball, no strikes. That one skipped the rope. But Peterson skipped the rope, and it's all the way to the backstop, and taking second is Gomes on a wild pitch. Russell Martin's going to need a hug after this series. He's been worked over.
He's got a good offensive series too to go with it. Be a nice run to pick up out there. The Braves have a 3-run lead, but as we've seen in this ballpark, that's not enough. See if Jace can get him in. Good 2-0 changeup. Seems to be almost automatic with these Blue Jays pitchers. 0-2, throw a changeup.
Now Martin snaps one down to second base, and Gomes is picked off. Fine peg by Russell Martin. Gomes wandered too far off second, and that'll send our game to the home 8th. Coming up for the Jays, Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion. Cody Martin will stay out there for Atlanta, and he'll try to protect a 3-run lead late. Good start, strike one, foul.
Yeah, that's what he's got to do. Donaldson can't tie the game up, no matter what he does or where he hits it. But what can happen with this part of the order, if you start trying to pitch too careful and you walk some guys, they could tie it up in a heartbeat.
To this point, Cody's doing exactly what he did all spring. Nothing eye-popping but the results, and that's what matters most. No balls, 2 strikes. I mean that as an ultimate compliment.
Yeah.
In the air toward right. Markakis drifts back. He'll measure that one up for the first out. Good start to the home eighth.
Slider down, nothing he could do with it.
Two walks today for Bautista, who's also flied out. Braves have walked him 4 times in the series. He only has 1 hit. That was a homer. Popped him up. Bautista snapped his bat at the plate. Maben in straightaway center. Has that. 2 outs.
How far have we come in our evaluations of pitchers that a guy who throws 89 and 90 is a guy described as, well, nothing eye-popping, and he's really got to be precise.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point, because everybody in, we use that term loosely, but everybody in a major league bullpen now throws 95 or more.
Yeah. But there's something to be said for a guy like Cody, who throws strikes and throws all his pitches for strikes. When those other guys are throwing hard and you don't know if they're going to throw a strike.
Encarnacion with 2 outs. He scored one of the 2 Jays runs today. I know the fans love to look at the radar gun, and we all in the broadcast booth ooh and ah when a guy can hit 99 or 100 miles an hour. I'm sure that's intimidating to face as a big league hitter. The manager's 1 outs.
Yep.
They don't care if it's 2 miles an hour or 200.
And in the bullpen, they want strikes.
Yeah.
With whatever it is you feature.
A 3-1 breaking ball. And here's the pitch of decision for Encarnacion.
Probably another one.
It was, and it missed. So Encarnacion walks. He flips the bat away in frustration. He wanted to hit one out. He takes a free pass, and now we've got a Martin versus Martin matchup. Russell knocked in the first 2 Toronto runs on a 2-strike double back in the 6th. Those runs charged Braves starter Shelby Miller, who went 6 innings today. Belti steal, right call. This is an enormously important out. Ball foul.
Yeah, if you can get him at the bottom part of the order coming up in the 9th with a 3-run lead, like your chances.
Russell Martin down to his last strike. 1-2 the count. Strike 3 called. Martin couldn't pull the trigger. A 91-mile-an-hour fastball right down King Street. And we head to the 9th inning. Braves are protecting a 5-2 lead in Toronto. There's a 5-2 Atlanta lead. As we head to the ninth inning, let's revisit our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Name the only lefty in Toronto history to win 20 games in a season.
I'm sticking with Jimmy Key.
Let's see if you're right. Jimmy Key is Joe's answer. Drum roll, please.
I think that's up for debate.
David Wells.
Sworn Jimmy Key won 20.
Jace Peterson, new set of strikes, and he bounces the first pitch to the right side. Tricky hop, and a nice play at second by Tollison for out number one.
Just looking at this stadium earlier, Chip, in a lot of ways it reminds me of old Shea Stadium because it's built at ground level and then straight up. The upper deck is really high and really steep, but look what they did here when they built this upper deck. Every row has a railing in front of it. So despite the fact that it's at such a sharp angle down, you've got a railing to lean on if you want to on every row in the upper deck. I just noticed that today.
And you and I were talking before the series started. Not only was this such a unique stadium, the massive concrete structure it is and the unique dome covering here, but this was the first stadium that you remember featuring luxury suites.
That's the one. That's the first one I remember. Yeah.
Boy, has that revolutionized the income streams and the way stadiums are built now. It's almost like the stadiums are built around the suites instead of around the diamond now. We've got them aplenty here. Simmons down 2 strikes. Osuna's throwing hard again. Hamilton has a hit. Made another good defensive effort. Braves have turned 2 more double plays against the Jays today. Ripped foul.
I like this guy, Osuna. And I believe as we see Grilly getting ready for the night, I think we were told that he is related to Antonio Osuna, correct? Son of, who pitched in the big leagues.
One ball, 2 strikes. In the air to right, and right at Bautista. 2 and down. All right, let's go Hawks. Don't miss round 1 of the NBA playoffs over on Sports South. The Hawks take on the Brooklyn Nets at 5 Eastern time. Then the Memphis Grizzlies take on the Portland Trailblazers. That game tips off at 7:30 Eastern time. The NBA playoffs are on Sports South and streaming on the Fox Sports Go app. Check local listings for game availability in your area.
Go Hawks.
Gary Maben with a hit and a walk. He's also reached on force play. He's down a quick strike. Ripped to right. Bautista gives ground and makes a shoulder high catch. Osuna with a perfect 9th. Let's hope the same is in the offing for Jason Grilly. He'll try to close down a series win when we come back. for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and a whole lot more. At MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet. We head to the bottom of the 9th inning, and Jason Grilli, if he can preserve this lead, will take over the Major League lead in saves. He's tied with Juris Familia of the Mets with 5 so far this year.
He's allowed runs in only one of his previous 5 outings, but he's 5 for 5 in the saves category. 8 strikeouts in 5 innings, only 2 walks. And he's got the bottom of their order to deal with.
Smoke, Pilar, and Pompey are coming up. Strike after strike for the Braves relief corps today. Boy, that ball break.
Beauty. Yeah. Didn't overthrow it. Even fooled Bethancourt a little bit on how much it was going to break.
To play by Smoke foul. He's humping up to 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, that one was a little too good. 0-2. That one, Bethancourt was setting up off the plate just a little bit. Would have been fine, you know, a couple of inches off the plate, but that had a good part of the plate and allowed Smoke to get a piece of it.
He blew it right on by at 96 miles an hour. Wow.
See what a difference it makes, even just a couple of inches. This is right on the edge, maybe a little off, and he can't get to it.
Braves and Nationals will hook up at the end of this long road trip, April 27th, 28th, and 29th. Great ticket offers are available. Sport Clips $8 Mondays, Coca-Cola $12 Tuesdays. Get them at Braves.com.
That's 10 strikeouts for Braves pitchers today.
And if memory serves, that was a forward key for Shelby Miller, and it's really worked for the whole staff. They've gotten ahead consistently today.
They challenged him.
Pilar's 0 for 3. And he's going to be 0 for 4 as soon as Simmons catches this. 2 outs. Braves last year were 7-13 against the American League. They're an out away from winning 2 of their first 3. Braves designated hitters last year combined for 4 hits in interleague play. Atlanta's taken care of that in this series. Here's Dalton Pompey. A couple of misplays cost the Jays dearly in this game by the young center fielder. And he takes a strike.
Well, it was his misplay in the first inning it's the difference in this ball game right now. Bases loaded, 2 outs, so everybody was running. And on a ball that sliced on him a little bit that he didn't read correctly, he missed a fly ball to deep center.
And now the Jays are down to their last strike. Really is strike away from becoming baseball saves leader. The 0-2 pitch for Dalton Pompey is caught on and missed. And the Braves have taken 2 out of 3 from the Toronto Blue Jays. Shelby Miller earns his 2nd win. Johnny Gomes with a 4 RBI day. And this long road trip starts very, very successfully for Atlanta north of the border.
Another fastball away, running away from the left-handed hitter. Great job again by Grilli, number 6.
And in 2 hours and 41 minutes, the Braves headed to an off day in New York in very, very good frames of mind. 5-2 is your final. We'll recap it for you from Rogers Center in a minute.